Hello everyone, it's Dr. Johnson. We're back with episode 11 of Trusalus Injury Recovery and Performance Education. Today we're going to be talking about what I think might be the biggest health issue facing the children of America today, and that is overuse injury. It's a problem that is rampant throughout our entire country, ages anywhere 8 to 18. It's the number one health issue, I believe, and that is because it affects all systems of the body, and it's affecting a lot of kids, and it's running them into the ground. So let's talk about what overuse is. Overuse simply means, again, that the total stress volume that an individual athlete has is exceeding their individual capacity for stress. I know we've been talking about that definition, but when it really resonates, it makes it a lot easier for you to see it. When we have stress volumes that repetitively over time are exceeding an individual's capacity for stress, we get tissue breakdown and degradation. Now, what does that look like in the individual athlete? Well, in the shoulder, it could be rotator cuff, it could be swimmer's shoulder, it could be little league shoulder, it could be little league elbow. We're talking about running injuries, jumping injuries of the knee, the ankle, shin splints, hip flexor issues, chronic hamstring strains, even to the point of having stress fractures. I know that you know a lot of kids that are walking around with the primary symptoms of overuse right now, which are elevated levels of pain, elevated levels of inflammation, increased stress, and lots of fatigue. And when those things go on, when those symptoms go on long enough, we get the breakdown occurring in tissue. And as we've discussed before, the solution is really actually quite simple in theory, and that is to decrease the stress volumes that the athlete are under and increase the athlete's individual capacity for stress by improving how well they move, how well they eat, how well they hydrate, and how well they recover with their sleep. But here we have two major problems that have to be uncovered, and that is that right now we have a society that believes that more is better with their training, with their competitions, and how much time is spent in just movement. We have a society that believes that kids can move endlessly and not get hurt. We have a society now that's created a sporting situation where we are training year-round, going from team to team to team, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and 6 days a week. Traveling on the weekends for tournaments, flying on planes, driving in cars long distances, sleeping in hotels, short nights of sleep, eating out at the local strip mall with anything that's available, Subway if you're lucky. I know, I've been through that experience with my kids, and I know what it's like to be on the go, and I know it's a big problem and hard to manage, because how do you get yourself out of that when the clubs and the coaches want you going more? If you're a kid with talent, there's always another team, another coach wanting you to play. And when you're a parent who sees a kid with talent, what do you want to do? You want to get them onto the next team and give them more exposure because you see a trajectory that has success behind it, maybe even Division I or greater success opportunities. So we've got a system right now that to some degree is out of control. If you sit back and think about how much time your child athlete is spending in movement, and you actually chronicled it, you would be surprised. We know that kids today are far more active in activity with their sports than ever before. But the problem is, and the second problem of the solution is that when we talk about the individual's capacity for stress, is kids have the same bad self-care habits that they always have. The first thing kids do when they get up in the morning is not stretch and run out and try to eat a healthy breakfast and make sure they're drinking the right amount of water, and they're not trying to rush off at night to get to bed early to get a good night's sleep. What they're doing is they're not stretching, they're not eating with any type of levels of consciousness, they're definitely not tracking their hydration intake, and they're staying up late at night being pinged on their phone, texting their friends, playing games, and getting limited amounts of sleep and having a really difficult time recovering. If you don't think this is affecting you, you're wrong. It's affecting most child athletes or youth athletes at this time right now. We're going to follow up tomorrow, and I'm going to help you determine if you are an individual who is suffering from overuse. So stay tuned, enjoy Nate's workout, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Hello, it's Nate again here. Now we're gonna move on to some lower body stuff. We already got a lower body, upper body in there. So for lower extremity, we're gonna start out with first a core exercise, kind of warm up everything, and then move on from there. These are broken up into rounds, so we have 3 rounds with 2 exercises each. After every round, you'll rest 30 to 40 seconds. Doing anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds of work each exercise, or 12 to 20 repetitions. You pick what works best for you. So we're gonna start out on the ground with a regular plank. I personally like to set it up in a beginner position, which is my elbows with my knees pushed back far enough to where my back is neutral. I don't want this, so walk yourself out far enough to start with a neutral back. Your arms want to be shoulder width apart. No hands together like that. Believe it or not, that's cheating. We're going to put our arms open like that, shoulder width apart. Same thing as before with the push-up mentioned in the upper body push-up phase. We're going to tuck that pelvis under, and from here, this is a great base level of a plank. I know some of us back at home, this works just great. Chris likes to do what we call an 8-point plank and push everything into the ground. Like we're trying to push our elbows, our forearms, our knees, all the way into the ground and engage for 30 to 60 seconds at a base level. If you want to challenge yourself a little more, you would elevate and extend your knees so your legs are straight. Same thing, no loss in the tilt. We want tilt under, engaged, and hold that 30 to 60 seconds. If you want it even harder, we can push onto the hands into a push-up position plank and hold like that. And even to go further, we have variation to make things much harder. You walk to the side, you can cross under for a little oblique. Okay, so those are going from easiest to hardest, 30 to 60 seconds. After we do that, we're going to stand up. Use your chair with the back side here facing forward. And we're going to do a step back lunge or a stationary lunge or a split squat, we call it. So setting up with 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, I'll use the one that's closest to the camera. We want a good spread. My left leg is in its own plane, my right leg is in its own. And from here at the base level, holding the help if needed, you're going to go down. You can even touch the ground. Looking for a good 90-degree angle here. It's okay if the shin goes forward a little bit. We just want to keep the knee over the foot, not inward or outward, and then back up. Okay, we don't want to hinge at the hip, so try your best to keep this back leg in line with your torso and go straight down and up. You don't have to touch your knee. You can hover it up and down, just like that. For a progression, you can do a step back lunge, which would be starting in the same position and stepping back and down and returning. Using the assistance, hold that there. Otherwise, no need. You can just do it freely, like so. Okay. All right. The next segment is going to be starting on the back. We're all familiar with the rotary stability as part of the baseline test, or the bird dog. We're going to get into the quadruped position, hands and knees, same spread, about shoulder width. Want my knees right under my hips and my arms right under my shoulders. I don't want to be too tucked in or too pushed far back. From here, we're going to reach opposite arms and legs. Here, I'll do my right arm and my left leg straight out. And then more challenge to bring the elbow to the knee. And then straight back out again. Trying not to hinge my back so much, just straight out. And curl up, sucking my belly under and try to reach that elbow to the knee. And extend out and under. To take it down a peg, you can just reach straight out and then return to the ground. Okay? So pretty straightforward. We're going to do 30 seconds on each side, or 12 to 15 reps each side before switching and doing the other side. Okay?
Music is a big prayer.
Next, we're going to stand up. All you need is a wall for this. We're basically going to do a wall sit. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that as well. So to start with this, shoulder to hip distance spread. We don't need to be too wide. And we kind of want to be leaned back a little bit. So when I squat down, my knees will stay roughly over my ankles and my heels. Okay, I don't want them too close back to where I'm pushing through my toes and my heels going to come up, putting too much tension on my knees. So with both toes straight forward, hip to shoulder distance spread, you'll go down. You can keep your arms here. It's a great way to kind of help you get back up if you're having trouble. And you're going to hold, kind of get to 90 degrees. For some of us, if 90 degrees is too much, you can't hang, then you can go up a little higher as long as these muscles are engaged. Okay, so otherwise we're holding 30 to 60 seconds here. And if you can't stay down there for a 10-second hold, then you can kind of come up and go back down for the minute period of time, trying to hold that for as long as you can throughout the minute. And then back up, okay? For the back, we want to uphold the natural curve in our lower back. We don't want to push it against the wall. We want to maintain that gap there. So you should be able to fit your hand back there, 30 to 60 seconds, or slide. If you can't hold 30 to 60 seconds, hold it for 10 seconds and then come back up and try to do that for a few times to match 30 seconds. going to be on the back. We're going to do a dead bug. Dead bug is pretty much the same exact thing we did in the previous core exercise with the rotary stability, only supine on our back. So with our legs at 90 degrees hip flexion, back pushing to the wall. So we have to engage that tilt this time. No gap. Arms are straight up to the ceiling. We're going to take opposite arm and leg, reach it out, full extension, hold briefly, and return. So extend slowly, hold, full lock, foot towards you, arm as straight as possible over the head. The opposite arm and leg don't move, the ones that aren't working. So we're going to do about 30 seconds on that side, or 12 to 20 reps, whatever feels good for you. If you want to make it harder, you can elevate your chest off the mat, chin to your chest, and elevate that way and hold a crunch on the abs while we reach. Slow reach, full extension, hold, come back down. Then we'll switch sides. Next, we're going to do a bridge, elevated. So you'll need a chair against the wall, back against the wall, the seating area facing you. Everybody's chairs might be different heights. So if it's too tall, try to find a lower surface where you can put your feet. We're going to scoot close. We're going to put our heels on the edge of the box like so, or I'm sorry, the chair, like a bridge. Palms to the side here. Chin down, and we're gonna squeeze up. Glutes and hamstrings is really big for under here, and then back down all the way. Okay, same thing, close the back first, squeeze the glutes and the hamstrings, and try to lock out to the knees, hips, and shoulders roughly in a straight line or a diagonal line. If we need to, we can scoot back a little bit. Just make sure you find the right distance for you, about hip distance spread of feet. Up, squeeze tight, pause briefly at the top and come back down nice and slow.